Are you ready to have your reality shaken? To question everything you've ever known? Ever heard of a place where planes and ships mysteriously vanish? A place veiled in whispers of alien abduction, hidden underwater cities, and interdimensional portals? Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle, the unsolved riddle of our planet. In the last 200 years, 20 planes, 50 ships, and 1,000 of people have just vanished in a small area in the Atlantic Ocean. This is a part of the ocean called the Bermuda Triangle, or the Devil's Triangle framed by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. It's an aquatic graveyard, where over the years researchers have uncovered 100 of wrecks. Scientific hypotheses have been crafted to try to explain what is happening here. The idea, the fear has spread, sparking countless books and documentaries attempting to prove that there's something strange happening in this triangle of ocean. There's some kind of a anomaly going on down there that we can't explain, something that goes on down far, far below the deepest rays, the last rays of sunlight. In this video, we're going to explain what the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle really is. The mystery here kind of started back in 1492, when Christopher Columbus is out there trying to reach Asia, and he passes through this triangle of water. And this is where things get weird. Columbus kept a very detailed journal. On September 13, 1492, Columbus says that as he's going along this route, something weird starts happening with his compass on this day. At the commencement of the night, the needles turned a half-point northwest, and in the morning they turned somewhat more northwest. Who creepy, Chris. But it doesn't stop there. He also reported the sea rising and a strange light out in the distance. He described it like a wax candle moving up and down. What is going on here? The mystery continued throughout the centuries. In 1606, while traveling through the triangle, a large English ship carrying 150 travelers became wrecked at Bermuda after encountering a huge hurricane. Even though this wasn't mysterious because it was just weather, it left an impression on how people saw this body of water. In fact, it is supposed that this shipwreck inspired Shakespeare's play, The Tempest, which often referred to Bermuda or Bournemouth as being vexed or cursed. 1881. This ship is sailing from Liverpool to New York City. When it passes through the triangle, the people on board say that they came across a ghost ship with no one on board. There are varying reports on exactly what happened, but the people on board generally reported that some of the crew decided to get on the ghost ship. But then the ships were separated by a massive storm when they were reunited with the ghost ship the next day. There was no trace of the crew. This stuff is kind of spooky, if true. But wait, we're just getting started. Because when you get to the 20th century, that's when the Bermuda Triangle, as a mysterious body of water, started to gain a lot of attention. In February 1918, one of the U.S. Navy's largest ships, the U.S. Cyclops, was carrying 300 men from Salvador, Brazil to Baltimore, Maryland. The route goes right through the Bermuda Triangle, but the ship never arrived to Baltimore, despite being able to. The Cyclops never sent out an SOS distress call. No wreck was ever found, as one article published a few years after the disappearance said. Usually a wooden bucket or a cork life preserver identified as belonging to a lost ship is picked up after a wreck. But not so with the Cyclops. She just disappeared as though some gigantic monster of the sea had grabbed her men and all and sent her into the depths of the ocean. In an official statement, the U.S. Navy said that, quote, "The disappearance of the ship has been one of the most baffling mysteries in the annals of the Navy. Navy boats kept disappearing. In 1941, The U.S. Proteus, carrying 58 passengers and a bunch of metal, suddenly vanished within the Bermuda Triangle. But it wasn't until 1945 when people started to get really suspicious. This is when a bunch of World War I aeroplanes were doing a 3-hour exercise over Grand Bahama Island, flying out and then pivoting back to their airbase back in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But these planes never returned, and the disappearances just kept happening. A long-haul flight with 25 people and 6 crew disappeared in the Triangle without a trace in 1948, and a year later, it happened again to another plane of the exact same model. All in all, there have been over 70 mysterious disappearances here in this little patch of ocean, where all those years ago Columbus noticed something strange happening with his compass. With time, more and more people started noticing. One writer in the 50s said, quote, "There have been other disappearances in this backyard sea of ours. And always the record, when the account is finally closed, has an ominous notation, no trace found." And then in 1964, the term Bermuda Triangle was actually coined.
We know our own planet. We know more about the moon. We're probably learning more about Mars than we know of our own planet. We know about the Earth, but we don't know about the sea.
Some argue compass variation argument that something is really happening in the Bermuda Triangle. It's not just bad weather. This mysterious patch of water is actually a gateway to something much bigger. Deep oceanic trenches or violent weather patterns are responsible. Others suggest methane hydrates, giant bubbles that could sink ships and send planes. Science offers theories, but what if the truth is something they can't or won't reveal? Some alternative theories about ancient civilizations and energy that was left over from those civilizations affecting this area. But not everyone is convinced by these conjectures. Some scientists argue for magnetic anomalies, which could interfere with compass readings. Others suggest sudden rogue waves or underwater methane gas eruptions that can sink ships in an instant. They range from things like the Bermuda Triangle having a disturbance in geomagnetism which throws off compasses and other navigational tools. What's the truth? The Bermuda Triangle remains an enigma, wrapped in a mystery inside a riddle. And while science continues to strive for answers, the Triangle keeps its secrets well guarded. And what about you? What do you think of this theory? Do you believe it? Or do you have your own take? If you love unraveling the mysteries of our world, don't stop here. We're always ready to dive into new enigmas. If you have ideas of unsolved mysteries or theories you'd like us to tackle, feel free to suggest them. Together, let's explore the unexplored.